think the idea of doing that is terrific, and I, to this day, hope that some filmmaker does that, or some producer or person comes up with that, like a movie that happens on the same day every couple of years and have a new story to tell on that day.
They did it with Saw for 7 years. There's no reason why you can't have it happen every year on that day.
Yeah, exactly. I think that would be great. The movie itself is pretty bad. I like the aspects of the idea. I like the idea of the killer masks kind of thing, and like that. That's sort of neat. I like the idea of robots. I don't like the execution of the robots in said movie. I don't like the weird fantasy stuff that was brought into the movie. And don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of my fantasy, but
what fantasy's in it? Just
isn't that like
Stonehenge?
the stone?
Yeah.
Like really.
And that great guy, I can't remember his name right now, but the guy from RoboCop, the Irish guy, I don't know if he's really, well, yeah, he's got an Irish name, I think, but, you know, he's like, they somehow stole one of the big, who knows how heavy stones from Stonehenge, right? And he's like, we had a time getting it here. You wouldn't believe how we did it, you know, and it's like, well, there's no way you could do it. You know, you're gonna fly that thing, you know.
There's so much ridiculous. The love story is so...
Did you say love story?
Yeah, it's so atrocious.
Lust story. I think it's a lust story.
God.
I think it's hilarious.
It's one of those movies that's so awful that it's hysterical.
Tom Atkins is just classic in that movie. He's just like...
oh my God, he's so bad.
He's so bad, it's so awesome.
My God,
he's like,
so bad.
he's the drunk doctor or something, you know?
He's a good actor too. I've seen him in plenty of movies where it's like, that man can act. I know he can act. He knows he can act. Why did he not choose to act in the movie?
Yeah, well, it could have been
they paid him.
the director, who actually was one of the editors, if not the only editor on the first movie. Tommy Lee Wallace was the writer and director of Halloween 3. But one of my favorite lines from Halloween 3 is Tom Atkins. The girl's like, should we go to the factory now? And he's like, well, hold on, slow down. It's getting late. I could use a drink. It kind of basically sums up his character in Halloween 3, well, gosh, we only got one hotel room here. If it makes you feel comfortable, I could sleep in the car. Where do you want to sleep, Dr. Chalice? And it's like a couple seconds of pause. That's a dumb question, Miss Grimbridge. I mean, some of the best dialogue in there since, like Citizen Kane is Halloween
The movie
3.
is just so bad, but it is very watchable because it is just so downright atrocious.
And again, Dean Cundey comes back to light Halloween 3. He was a director.
It's a good-looking movie. It's pretty. I will say that for the first 3 Halloween movies, they are good-looking movies.
Yeah. Well, Dean Cundey.
Apparently. And you mentioned Tommy Lee Wallace. Isn't that the name of the boy in the first Halloween? Tommy Wallace.
Tommy Wallace. Something Wallace.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's Tommy Wallace. I never made that connection.
No, Tommy Doyle.
Tommy Doyle.
Doyle, yeah. But it seems like there is some Wallace associated with some Halloween.
Is that the girl?
Lindsay Wallace.
There we go.
There you go.
Figured it out.
But they did all kinds of things like that by taking the name from Psycho for the doctor and all this kind of stuff. So Tommy Lee Wallace was one of the, if not the only editor on the first Halloween, and John Carpenter probably said, want to write and direct a movie? Here you go.
It's sort of like a hand-me-down kind of thing. I think that
was
sort of
the
idea was that they were going to hand it off.
Yeah.
He was going to take on the torch. I mean, that's what the Toy Story movies did. Those were a little more successful in their executions. But
the funny thing about the 3 Halloweens that John Carpenter had involvement in is they just keep going to lower and lower, kind of more desperate measures each time, like 2, oh God, 3, oh God, and it's just like, I give up, which was a good choice to finally just
the fact that he walked away from that was probably a good thing. To be honest, I don't think John Carpenter really made a better movie than his first Halloween. I think that was his best movie to date, and it's a really hard movie to top when you're a director who's making.
So I just got to ask you, even though we already reviewed Halloween, when you said that, can you just briefly, tell me why you think that is? Like why Halloween is his best?
Well, I've seen a fair share of John Carpenter's movies, and John Carpenter is a talented man. I think part of his problem, and part of the reason why I don't enjoy things like The Thing, I didn't really like. I
enjoy things like The Thing.
I loved the original Thing from the 50s. I did not like the John Carpenter remake. I didn't really like Escape from New York. Escape from LA was entertaining, is not good, but I mean.
So you just think that? What about Halloween for you is his best?
Basically, was that he just had this idea.
It kind of goes like just straightforward, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a straightforward idea. Are you afraid of the boogeyman? Well, I'll make you afraid of the boogeyman. And he did. And the worst thing he possibly could have done, he did in the second one, which is give that boogeyman a reason.
Yeah.
And that just, it takes a step backwards. It's not, it makes them, it faults the first movie. Like, I have trouble watching Halloween 1 anymore just because of all the horrible things that happened in 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
See, but I can understand how that would be, why someone would do that, but you should really, I can understand how that, how a movie or a remake can ruin the first one, but it really doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to. A really bad sequel can totally ruin the first movie, though. And Alien 3, I think, is a prime example. But like there are certain things that he opted to do in Halloween 2 that ruined Halloween 1. So I think for him to go in and do, like, let's change everything about number 3 and let's make the Halloween franchise its own thing, where they bring something out new each year, was a brilliant idea, a brilliant stroke. He should have told the audience, like, ahead of time, like, this is the plan.
This should have been more.
Yeah, what he should have done is come out like Hitchcock did in front of his movies and just be like, this is what we're going to do. For the next 10 years, we're going to show you 5 movies that take place on Halloween night. Each one is in its own universe, and each one brings you a new horrible piece of this horrific puzzle to blend dimensions, or something like that. Like
right.
If he had done something like that, I think Halloween 3 could have worked. Also, if the movie was a better movie, it could have worked. But I think that's where he faulted, and when Halloween 3 screwed up, and he essentially killed, like, there was no way for Michael Myers to survive. There was no Halloween 4. So he was like, well, Halloween's dead, let's move. And
that's right. On. That's something we didn't even discuss for Halloween 2, that he made damn sure that... He
made damn sure everybody was dead except for the girl.
Laurie, Loomis.
Oddly enough, she's the only one that didn't come back for the fourth one.
Isn't that funny?
But oddly enough, they made a fourth one. Anyway...
Well, I don't think I gave stars for Halloween 3. We can wrap it up. I'm going to say, I don't know, 2.5, because I think that it's better, for being something original, it's better than the second one because it actually tried to do something original. What it did, and the whole idea of it was very creepy, and 2.5 Halloween 3. Well, this ends
I didn't give it my star rating. I'd give it a 1. It's on par with the second one. I think it's a worse movie than the second movie, but the idea is a much better one. It's too bad that the idea didn't pay out. I think had it been made with more money and with given more time and care,
have done?
Well, it would have. It's a really cheap-looking movie in aspects, especially with the robot. But and some of the kills, I'm thinking of the eye thing, which
your eye sockets out is never good.
Yeah, like things like that. Money could have probably helped.
Money.
So I'd give it 1 for the idea, for the ingenuity that it took to try and do something different. It didn't pan out, but I respect it for trying.
I think I pretty much wrapped up on Halloween 3 at what I say, 2.5 stars, and this ends our first 3 Halloweens video, which is probably on its 3rd or 4th thing
on
by
reel
now.
7.
Yeah, reel 7 by now. So we're going to continue. You're probably cold. Huh?
I'm actually not too cold. I'm jittery.
You're jittery.
I'm always jittery. Yeah.
Okay, so he's not cold. I am, and we're going to go on to the next Halloween 4, 5, and 6. Check it out.